Hi everybody! Welcome to another episode of Foxy's ApocalyptiKitchen. And today is my first installment of ApocalyptiPickle. Today we're making a spicy carrot pickle, which I'll think of a creative name for, and you will see it here. Okay, so to make the spicy pickle, there are a couple of steps. As you can see, I have all my ingredients here. I have a big pile of carrots. I got my sterilized mason jars with lids. I have a variety of spices. I have some ground cumin. I have some crushed red pepper. I have some coriander. And I have some black mustard seed. I also have some fresh ginger, which I'm going to cut up here in just a moment. So the first step with this project is to dry roast these herbs. So to bring out the flavor of some herbs a little bit more, this is a little trick you can use. I've already preheated my oven, and we're going to use a couple of teaspoons of herbs here and spices. You don't need a ton because it gets pretty flavorful pretty quickly. Rustle, 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 rustle. Making quite a bit, so I'm going to put a little bit more spice in. This was 2 bags of carrots, like 4 pounds or something. And this recipe calls for half of that, so we're going to go just a little bit overboard, you know. Kind of doing a double batch of carrot here. If you want it a little bit spicier, as I sometimes like it, you put some more spice in. We're just gonna put this. You know, this is already ground up. I'm gonna put the cumin in last when I do the brine, the briny brine. This is kind of a wild time, I think, for lots of folks. So it's nice to step away from the politics a little bit and just do stuff that is like a little wholesome. One of my favorite sayings, as I go to chop up this ginger now, this is something you don't really have to watch me do because it'll take a second and I might fast forward. But one of my favorite sayings is, what do you do before you reach enlightenment? You chop wood and you carry water. And what do you do after you reach enlightenment? Is you chop wood and carry water. And I think in times like this, just being reminded that going through like daily routine, the things that, you know, washing yourself, feeding yourself, brushing your teeth, just like the little things that make life kind of like, not give it a purpose, but give it kind of like a familiarity of being. The things that you have to do to maintain being alive, right? And just by going through those processes, I think there's a lot of value in that, especially as lots of people have pointed out that we kind of get away from that in our day-to-day lives, and now we're being forced into that situation frequently, and it's hard to adapt, as we can tell, but those creatures that are most successful are those that are most adaptable to change. Okay, so almost got, so we're going to slice this really thin. Could put this in fresh too, but I kind of want to dry roast it and then let the ferment rehydrate it and suck out all that intense flavor. This is going to dry roast. Probably not going to take too long. Don't have to dry the ginger out all the way either. So mostly to get this coriander and black mustard seeds to pop, pop, pop. Here we go. And I'm back. Now that I've got my spices going in the oven, I'm just going to actually crack that a little bit so I can hear what they're doing. It's time to process some carrots. These have been washed. I'm just going to take the tips and ends off real quick here. And I'm probably just going to do this all like boom. And then I'll make this super fast so you can see my working. Okay folks, welcome back to my ApocalyptiPickle Carrot Edition. So as you can see, I've got this stack of carrots prepped with the tips and ends removed. Now I'm going to do the next stage, which is just taking these carrots one by one. And we're cutting them down into like bite-sized fingerlings like you might put out on a veggie tray at a party that we're not allowed to go to right now. So I'm just gonna do that while my herbs are still doing their thing. And this is a really easy project. These can go straight into my mason jars like that. I should have plenty of mason jar space for all this carrot here. Yeah, like that. It's very good. Mind your sharps as always. So the thinner you make your carrot, the thinner you make your pickle pieces, the faster they're going to pickle. Because there's more surface area for your bacteria to get at the pickle, get at the vegetable matter and preserve it. These ones that I'm doing, probably this jar, I'm going to do really thin and do like a bit of an experiment and see how they come out. And then I'm going to do a jar with some thicker slices and see how those ones come out and if there's any difference and if I can recommend anything. And you can pack it in there pretty tight as long as the brine has space to get to everybody. Some of these carrots are much bigger than other carrots. As you know, some carrots are just bigger than other carrots. I'm gonna switch this over to nothing and then you will come back when I am done processing these carrots into here and you can join me for the next step. Hey everybody, welcome back. As you can see, I have prepared my carrots in their mason jars. Found a nice, the right size jars for all of my carrot, which is perfect. Just gonna pull my seasoning out of the oven where it's been dry roasting. Now we're just gonna guide it ever so gently here into my mason jars with my carrots. Okay, I'm gonna give you quite a bit because you're really big. Whoop. Make a bit of a mess that I can sweep up afterwards. I can be messy sometimes, you know. Okay. Now we'll just give that a little bit of a shakety shake right there. And when I get my brine in there, it'll really mix it up. Okay. So the brine is the next step. I'm going to make my brine in this thing because it's bigger and easier to measure than my tiny measuring cup. So we're going to take some salt here. Just some table salt will do. Pop that open like that. Okay, so it takes about 2 tablespoons. Where is it? 2 tablespoons of salt per liter of water to make a brine. Yep, there we go. One tablespoon. Two tablespoons of salt. There we are. So that's our brine base right there. We may need to make a little bit more of this. Make sure we get it. Our solution is salt is well dissolved here. Nice and briny. Okay, now I've got my brine. And this is just going to get poured over these carrots until the jar is completely full of sweet, salty water. Okay. I'm gonna have to do another liter of brine, I think, to fill that big jar. And top this one up. Okay. It's gonna be putting some seasonings away. Oh yeah, I forgot to put my cumin in, which I was gonna do at this stage, so. Okay, that'll do. Okay, now we're gonna fill these last pickles, these last carrots, brine. And look at that, I have just enough left. Okay, perfect. These don't want any of this carrot to be sticking out. There we go. Okay. Stick a lid on it. Okay, and I like to just kind of turn them over a few times just to get those herbages spread throughout the brine. Okay. Okay, now that we've got our carrot in our brine and we are otherwise ready to go, these are just going to sit for a couple of days before they're ready to eat, 2 days. After 24 hours, you're going to want to open the seal on these to release the CO2 that they've built up from the fermentation process. And after about a week, you'll want to move them to the refrigerator to slow down that fermenting and preserve their flavor. Otherwise, they get really sour. Not necessarily what we're looking for. And I think that's all. So thank you for watching my most recent edition of ApocalyptiKitchen, the spicy carrot ApocalyptiPickle. And if you enjoyed this show, please like, subscribe, and share with your friends. And if you want to support my show further, you can consider becoming a patron or a one-time donation at Ko-fi. These links that are magically appearing right beside me. And thank you very much to my current patrons, who you'll find right here. I have Google Analytics, Philbo Schwagans, and Sonic232. Love you all, and I'll see you next time. Bye!